Okay, let's talk about AI because this is something that every gamer out there is starting to see the results of, mostly in hardware pricing and availability. Even just speculation around 2026 and prices continuing to go up. Consoles, video cards, SSDs. I mean, it is almost across the board right now. But things are getting interesting because now it's starting to look like, with some of the new reports coming out, and also some of the things people at the top are saying, doesn't look great over the next couple of years for AI. And it does have people wondering, are we getting closer to this bubble bursting? And then what happens when it does? And that's, you know what, that's hard to answer, but we're gonna go over some of that here today. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. So let's take a look over here. This is actually the Bazite page. Hold on. You know what? No, this actually fits into a theme later on in the video. I was looking. I needed one of the Bazite images for like a little budget PC I was putting together. As again, price is going up for hardware. You know, I was like, hey, let's see if we can figure out some stuff for a couple $100 even to play some games. But you can see I was thinking, oh, I'll put Bazite, not Windows. Let's put Bazite. Let's look towards Linux. Interesting. So anyway, this is the report that I wanted to look at here. This is actually from Chosun Biz here. Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix reduce NAND flash production this year, maximize profits in the extremely boom period. This is translated over into English, so there'll be I'm sure, some oddities here in the text, but the bottom line here is we have Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix. They account for more than 60% of the global NAND flash market share. They're expected to reduce their NAND flash production this year. You can see this is according to market research firm Omdia, data obtained by Chosun Biz on the 20th. Samsung slightly lowered its production of NAND wafers from 4.9 million last year to 4.68 million this year. NAND's profitability plummeted in 2024, further reducing production compared to last year's production cut. SK Hynix NAND's production is expected to follow a similar trend from 1.9 million copies last year to 1.7 million this year. Now, they say considering that the NAND market is attracting demand for AI this year, supply control by major suppliers Samsung and SK Hynix is likely to deepen supply shortages, not only in AI servers, but also in all fields such as mobile and PC. So the situation here, bottom line, I would expect solid state drives to just continue to get more expensive, bare minimum, throughout 2026. I mean, you can see this one, for example, is from Coxia. Their executive says the AI boom means the era of cheap 1 terabyte SSD is over. Company's NAND supply is sold out for this year and likely through 2027. So the obvious thing here, economics 101, right? Okay, so demand, even if it just stays the same, we'll say for, oh, here's nice NVMe right here, right? Demand stays the same, but supply goes down. Okay, well, that just means that price is then going to go up. And we're once again talking about how the push currently for standing up AI data centers all over the place to then hold up a lot of these large language models and the training and all the compute that has to go into that, and yes, also the power that you need to generate to then also stand these up. It's I mean, it's just making things more expensive across the board for us in just everyday lives, but also in something that people will turn to, yes, for productivity, but also for, I mean, just honestly escaping everyday life with entertainment, in this case, gaming. And I'll tell you this, once you start getting into a gamer's hobby and making it more difficult for them to enjoy it, whether it's building a PC or, I mean, look, we've only seen consoles get more and more expensive as we've gone along. They're not going to be happy. And right now online, there's a massive pushback currently. If you look on social media and stuff, if any bad news comes out around AI, people are just like, oh, good, fine. The bubble is going to burst. We're finally there. We're so close. Now, they do mention the $45 1 terabyte NVMe. And okay, so when I would get an NVMe, I would look to buy them on sale during things like Cyber Monday or Black Friday. Those were obvious times to do it. But even so, in we'll say the off season from those kind of sales, you'd still find 1 terabyte NVMe from known brands, not like you go on Amazon, you find some of the most random sounding ones, and you're like, I think this is good. But Samsung, just as an example, all right? 70 to $80 for a 1 terabyte NVMe. Now, you want them to be faster, you'll pay more, but it was typically under $100 for a quality 1 terabyte NVMe. And they've just been going up at this time. I was looking on Amazon, and this is just the top results: 1 terabyte NVMe. And here's like a Samsung 990 Pro. It's $200. Here's a Team Group 1 terabyte for $233. Some of these sound a little crazy. Here's Western Digital 1 terabyte green, and that's $134. Like I said, a lot of this seems like it has jumped significantly. I mean, we're talking in some cases double what it was a few months ago. So when you start seeing this, it's just more and more inconvenience for the everyday consumer, even though people are being told that AI is actually going to make the everyday consumer's life better. But it's a lot of promises and it's a lot of speculation. So when we're a few years in now since ChatGPT launched at the end of 2022, it hasn't. I mean, look, it can put together an Excel spreadsheet for you. That's good. It's kind of an advanced search engine, although many times you have to check its work, and that can also then make it so it takes you more time to do the same task. But look, when it gets it right, okay, cool. It does some pretty neat things. But that's the part that's an issue. When you associate to, oh, that's neat, it's not, oh wow, that's massive. That's this huge breakthrough that would be worth it for $150 1 terabyte NVMe. So Satya Nadella had a talk here. And it's funny, he said something that I mentioned to Colin in our podcast it was last week, but I put up over the weekend here. And we were talking about AI and sort of its impact in the world, but then in gaming. And my thing was, look, AI needs to do something that is significant, that's tangible for the everyday person. Not, oh wow, the Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella is like, hey, these large language models, they're able to code well. So, hey, 30% of Microsoft's code currently is being written by AI, which kind of says a lot about Windows right now. I don't know if it's just me. Let me know down in the comments. Is Windows getting worse? Because it feels like they'll do updates and some of the most basic stuff is breaking. And I mean, I've been around experiencing Windows since like Windows 90. It was Windows 95. And I know Vista gets joked about, but Vista didn't really have a problem shutting down. There's a recent update they did where people weren't able to shut down their PC, which is insane. At least back in the day, when you shut down your system, it told you when it was safe to shut it down. It couldn't actually turn itself off. There's a little message that came in. Okay, that's very old. But the point is, that's not a great example for like, hey, AI is great, guys. Okay, well, Windows seems like it's getting less and less reliable, less and less stable. And AI is writing some of that. So, yeah, that's probably not something you should have said out loud. Although that was almost a year ago now, he said that, I believe. It's like April of 2025. Okay, so this was at a recent keynote. You can see this is actually summarized over on Windows Central. And this is Satya Nadella here, conversation with him, talking about AI with the World Economic Forum. And he said, we as a global community have to get to a point where we're using this to do something useful that changes the outcomes of people and communities and countries and industries. Otherwise, I don't think this makes much sense. In fact, I would say we will quickly lose even the social permission to actually take something like energy, which is a scarce resource, and use it to generate these tokens. And that's actually correct. So here's the thing. He even recently at the end of it was like his year in review reflection, he said, I hope people stop referring to AI as slop. And now people call it micro slop. It's right here, right? Micro slop. So that's the thing. They're not seeing that tangible result from AI. They're being told that it's coming. It'll happen eventually. But in the meantime, you're just going to see more and more inconveniences happen in your everyday life. They mentioned energy. Yeah, that's also going up for a lot of people, especially in areas around like the data centers. He mentions it's scarce. There are reports that a lot of the data centers that are being stood up, they don't necessarily have the energy they need where it's being stood up. to actually power them fully. Seems like there's just a lot of decisions being made on the fly with a lot of money. With AI currently in its position and how Nvidia's heavily being propped up by it because they provide a lot of the chips. It's also heavily propping up the US economy to where many experts and analysts are concerned because without this, it seems that the economy would be thrown into a recession. So we talk about, oh, the bubble bursting for AI. What does that mean? Honestly, I think it'd be pretty ugly if it just happened all at once. If AI turns out that it was a farce the whole time, that they were really trying to pump all this up and there was never any big aha moment that would come, then yes, you're probably going to have devastating effects on the economy and, to be honest, most people's lives then. And so when I see something like this show up, OpenAI could reportedly run out of cash by mid 2027. Analyst paints grim picture after examining the company's finances. This paired with a recent move from OpenAI should concern a lot of people. All right. Again, I know many out there are like, can we just get this AI bubble popped and get on with it? And maybe that is the sense of let's rip the bandit off now and then get the healing process started, basically. I hear you there. But according to the external report last year, OpenAI was projected to burn through $8 billion in 2025, rising to $40 billion in 2028. Given that the company reportedly predicts profitability by 2030, it's not hard to do the math. So I want people to realize this, that, and you can see their ventures project spending 1.4 trillion on data centers. They have their project Stargate that they're doing right now, which is mostly them building up an incredible amount of compute through way of these data centers. And I they really must I mean, at that point you assume they believe in a lot of this stuff. But if they did run out of money and OpenAI became insolvent and they just went away, that I think would be the death nail for AI. ChatGPT is kind of the face of this whole AI revolution, this big push right now. So if that faltered, mass amounts of confidence would be lost in this entire thing. And then you have for Microsoft, Satya Nadella. I mean, it kind of sounds like he's begging people to use Copilot. And I don't know about you. I see Copilot. I am just never inclined to open it. I mean, I'm sorry. If you're begging people to use Copilot, people aren't then going to go, oh, okay, I need to open this right away. They're just going to uninstall it. OpenAI has also mentioned that they're going to be running ads here soon for some of their different tiers. And the thing that should be very alarming for people is OpenAI has said that they get 800 million or so weekly active users, and they're still trying to figure out how to make money. 800 million people sign in to ChatGPT and use it every week, and they're struggling to make the numbers work right now. Now, I do know that obviously they're burning a lot of money. They're investing a lot. They're trying to throw a ton of money at these data centers, but that is basically they would have the AI or their AI large language models to make some kind of serious impact that's not just, hey, your employer has now figured out how to make 20 of you very productive, so now we can lay off 20 of you. It's like that's the thing. That's the other concern, is the amount of job loss that could happen if AI continues to build up at people's expenses. So it's a very murky future for this whole thing, and it does make me wonder if it's worth rolling dice at all, or just popping the bubble sooner rather than later before it gets way too big. It's already pretty big, but like really big, and everything is really dependent on it, because that would be, I said devastating. It'd be catastrophic, I feel like then. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below in the comments. I know I usually focus on a lot of gaming stuff, but let's face it, this whole AI thing has completely found its way into gaming now, with everything going up in price. But also on the tech side, it is a massive, massive focus. And I think it's something definitely worth paying attention to going forward here over the next several months and maybe the next several years. We'll see where this whole thing takes us. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.